there was an age when thousands around the world flocked to Nickelodeon parlors, theaters, and picture palaces to witness what was to them a new miracle. For this was the time of the birth of the cinema, the motion picture, the very beginning of the first truly mass entertainment industry. You know, right from the beginning, the movies were a kind of people's theater. The better-off groups just didn't pay much attention to the Nickelodeons, but the price was right for the great mass of the working people, so to speak. And so were the stories. For in those early days, the people who made movies were working stiffs just like their audiences, putting in 10, 12 hours a day for very low pay. They knew the value of laughter, the one luxury that was within everyone's reach. It had brought the people into the music halls and to the popular newspapers featuring a form of entertainment invented, almost simultaneously with the movies, the comic strip. Now it would bring them to the films. There was no language barrier in silent movies. Pantomime, slapstick, physical comedy needed no words of explanation. And so the early comedians quickly became internationally recognized stars. But it's a man who only rarely appeared before the cameras who is generally acknowledged to be the first genius of screen comedy. That's Max Sennett, who once, they say, worked in a boiler factory. The people who worked with Mac all say that he was not funny himself, but he could recognize with a great booming laugh what was funny. He installed railroad waiting room benches in his writer's office so that they couldn't lie down on the job. Pretty good idea, too. He banned books from his lot because, as he said, there are no jokes in books. But he took his cameras out into the street and made funny things happen in very ordinary surroundings. He made heroes out of plain people and showed the so-called rich and respectable, not to mention their defenders, the cops, to be a sorry and befuddled lot. Oh, it was lovely. This film, Mabel's dramatic career, has Max Sennett as star as well as director. It gives us a wonderfully vivid idea of what a flea pit movie show was like in the year 1913, with its pianist providing musical accompaniment to the pictures on the screen. Sennett is the roughneck in the audience, and his neighbor is Fatty Arbuckle. Mac is in love with Mabel, who has gone off to Keystone and made good as a movie star. Mac now sees her on the screen for the first time, and when the villain pursues her, he gets mad. Max Sennett generally gets credit as the father of screen comedy, but he was the first to deny it. It's about time I confessed the truth, he said. It was those Frenchmen who invented slapstick, and I just imitated them. The story of the screen comedy began, in fact, in France with a 40-second farce called Watering the Gardener. It was filmed by the brothers Auguste and Louis Lumière over 80 years ago in the spring of 1895. This was such a success with the audiences of the 90s that every other filmmaker rushed to copy it. Now, this version of the garden hose joke was made around 1899 by the Bamforth Company from Yorkshire in England. Filmmakers discovered, in fact, that nothing in the world is as funny as a good drenching. But they had elaborated the joke a good deal by 1906, when a Frenchman, Ferdinand Zecker, made The Well-Washed House. It's basically still the same joke of a hose pipe and naughty children, only Zecker takes it, well, a good deal farther. Zecker had learned about comedy as a performer in cabarets in the 90s. He went into films as an actor, and he soon became one of the leading directors in the French film industry. As Max Sennett said, give a Frenchman a chance to be funny and he'll go the limit. In 1906, when Zecker made The Well-Washed House, the French cinema was supreme in the world film market, and the major source of its success was comedy. Acrobats, clowns, and tumblers who could fall about all over the screen were of more use to the movies than people who could tell jokes. With Gaumont and Pathé as the dominating giants, all the producers were recruiting talent just as fast as they could. And they sought it in the music hall, the cafe concerts, and the circus, rather than the theater. The movies were able to offer the clowns and acrobats a wonderful new arena to perform in. The very streets of Paris itself, the alleys and hills of Montmartre with Sacré-Cœur as a backdrop. The clown had never had such luck. No need for painted sets. He could smash up real cafes, fall down real stairs, break real windows, chase down real streets.